I want to go over a concept that a lot of you get stuck on. I tend to notice in a lot of my online conversations that people get really stuck on certain details and they can't let them go. What I'm referring to is tunnel visioning on a statistic that really doesn't have that much grounding or basis. When it comes to the nature of the things that I tend to talk about, a lot of the concepts are very wishy-washy when it comes from a statistical analysis perspective. If you're anything like me, you'll start to understand why this is. I don't believe anything that anybody says. Why is this relevant? When it comes to survey data, all you're doing is asking individuals what their opinion is or what their preference is. When it comes to hyper-emotional people, which is like 99% of people on Earth, how can you trust their answer to be objective? I mean, let's relate this to the concept of horoscopes. The very fact that horoscopes exist proves this very concept. You put a piece of text in front of somebody, you say it somehow specifically applies to them, through birth month or gemstone or moon positioning, and they automatically start looking for a reason as to why what they're reading applies to them. Answering surveys is no different. Why would somebody answer a survey honestly, especially when it has the potential to paint them in a negative light? The truth is, most of the time they won't. Another great example of this is math class. When you're solving math problems, all you're doing is practicing algebra and the tools you've been given before. The problems are tailored in a way to give you a clean result. The point is this: you start the math problem with numbers, you do some algebra, and the solution is more numbers. It's completely arbitrary in nature. The input and the output doesn't necessarily give you a meaningful result. It's just numbers. When it comes to a lot of statistics and data collection, the same logic can be applied. You can do an experiment that's scientifically correct and could follow the theory, but the result is entirely useless and does not apply to reality. This is often the case when you're trying to narrow down so many variables, most of which are very difficult to calculate. In sciences, this process can work quite well. When it comes to people, however, it can become increasingly difficult. It's very easy to craft a study that's scientifically correct, but very clearly panders to a certain narrative. To boil this down all the way to the end, this is exactly why I tell you to not believe what women tell you about relationships. How do you quantify feeling protected? How do you quantify being attractive? Yes, there are people that are standardizing these things to some degree. It's never a one-size-fits-all though, so in a lot of cases the results aren't necessarily that useful. But a lot of times what is useful is experience. Theorizing about what works in reality and what actually works in reality, especially when it comes to people, is generally two different things. For this reason, always take what you hear with a grain of salt, especially from people that don't have the incentive to tell you the truth. When it comes to making decisions, you have to consider experience as a variable. If you don't trust your own experience because you don't have any, or because it doesn't directly apply, you have to trust the people that have actually done it. This is why I'm trying to give you guys real, tangible dating advice. I've seen it, I've done it, and I've taught it. The truth can be very elusive. This is exactly why I'm trying my absolute best to break it down for you guys in the most digestible way possible. If you're looking for consistent help, don't forget to take a look at my program. In there, I'll teach you all about dating, style, and how to make an income online. Click the link in the description below to learn more. For now, guys, that's the end of this video. If you have any specific questions, don't be afraid to ask them in the comments. Also subscribe to keep getting content like this. I'll see you guys next time.